Hey everybody, Alex Kazora, SteelersDepot.com, back with some more Pittsburgh Steelers preview and prediction for this Week 7 game between the 3-2 Pittsburgh Steelers, the 3-3 Los Angeles Rams. Pittsburgh off their bye week, trying to get another victory in this ultra-competitive AFC North. Let's talk about this game. Good news off the top, Pittsburgh much healthier in this one than they were, say, in week number 5. Now tight end Pat Freiermuth is out. Unfortunately, thought he was going to play, and then Thursday aggravates that hamstring injury that caused him to miss week number 5, and so he is out this week and potentially, multiple weeks from there, including the Jacksonville game. So that's unfortunate, but Deontay Johnson almost certainly should be back. I'm recording this here on Friday night, expected to be activated off of IR tomorrow, along with guys like James Daniels, DeMarvin Leal, Presley Harvin, etc., coming back to Pittsburgh. So that's just a good thing overall, especially Johnson for the offense. Let's talk Rams here, and starting with their offense, their run game is really in flux. It was pretty decent this year, and they lost their top 2 running backs in Kyren Williams and Ronnie Rivers, so they're going to be a different looking unit there overall with Zach Evans, the rookie, and they just reportedly will elevate Darrell Henderson and a couple of veteran runners in there, and Royce Freeman, Myles Gaskin. I imagine regardless of who starts, it's going to be a pretty strong rotation and committee. Gaskin probably works more in passing situations, Evans more rundown, early down type situations, but that's going to be big for Pittsburgh because the run defense has been leaky this year overall. It's caused Minkah Fitzpatrick to play in the box more often, not allow him to make as many splash plays as he's accustomed to. So still have to stop the run. I think schematically, the Rams are still pretty strong. The O-line is solid. Avila at left guard. The rookie has done well. Dotson at right guard. Of course, ex-Steeler, he's done well. They got a couple of big, powerful guards. And Rob Havenstein at right tackle, to me, is one of the more underrated right tackles in football. So the run defense and the run projection looks better, but still must get those stops. But even if Pittsburgh does take away the run, the Rams' pass game is really strong overall. It's one of the strongest trios of receivers in football. It's maybe not the best. You got teams like the Bengals right up there, but you got Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua and Tutu Atwell. That's a really good 3, and Kupp returned after missing the first month, and he's been just excellent. He's got over 100 yards in each of his 2 games. He's the primary read in the progression, virtually every single snap for them. Matthew Stafford not having his best year, but whenever he's on, he can make some really upper echelon type plays. So they move Kupp around. He gets a lot of slot work. So how Pittsburgh defends that. Want to see how they use the cornerbacks. Will Porter play more? Will Peterson bump inside more? You really can't put Chandon Sullivan on Cooper Kupp even in 1st and 10 situations. So we'll see exactly how that gets handled. Obviously, it's not going to be a one-man job regardless to try to take care of Kupp. You're going to see bracketing, probably a lot of Minkah, robber coverage, that kind of stuff to try to take him away. But they're going to move him around quite a bit. They utilize motion effectively to, change leverage, and they can, go from 3-by-1, kind of more spread out, and go into a bunch right before the snap and really work off of that well. They're really schemed up well, much better than what you see on Pittsburgh's end of things. And so that makes them really successful with some of these crossers and over routes and just ways to free up Cooper Kupp. Defensively for the Rams, they're not a big name unit besides, of course, Aaron Donald, and the numbers for Donald don't look gaudy, 2.5 sacks, but he's still making high impact plays. He's still certainly Aaron Donald. They're moving him around more often too. You see him off ball, you see him kind of stand up, and you're not really quite sure where he's coming from. He's stunting and looping more, so they're really trying to find creative ways to make sure he can still impact games. And I imagine, while he's not a traditional nose tackle, he's probably going to get a lot of reps on Mason Cole, given that Cole has struggled, and I'm sure the Rams defensive coaching staff recognizes that. So I think for Pittsburgh, Mason Cole's got to have a really big game overall in Pittsburgh's system. The center's typically working one-on-one more often than other systems where the guards are helping the tackles more under Pat Meyer's scheme. And so I think Cole, who has, again, struggled throughout the season, must be at his best on Sunday. Beyond that, I think just the front and the way the Rams play it is really interesting. They're trying to do this hybrid best of both worlds where they run a lot of 5-2, where they're going to run a lot of 5-down fronts. That's 5 defensive linemen, and that's going to become more popular. And Pittsburgh has really struggled against those looks, against the 49ers in week 1, the Browns in week 2. I think you saw some of that from the Raiders in week number 3. It's one of those things where if you can get past that first level, you can really rip off some big runs. But can you actually get past that first level? And that defensive line overall is not amazing for the Rams, besides, of course, Aaron Donald, but that's going to be the key. And so what the Rams do is they play a 5 down front and they pair that with 2 high with their safety. So they're trying to stop the run with the 5 down front and take away the vertical passing game with the 2 deep safeties. And so they're trying to mix both in terms of how do you stop the run game and how do you take away the deep ball. Those are kind of the 2 core components of most defenses in today's NFL. So interesting style overall for that Rams team. Can Pittsburgh win at the point of attack at that first level, create movement, and get Harris, get Warren into the second level? If they can, that's a big advantage for the Steelers. And then finally, just their cornerback group, and there's some question marks on Darion Kendrick, who is one of their starting corners who got arrested after the Cardinals game, week number 6. I think he practiced in some capacity on Friday, so I have not been able to check his status yet, but we'll see if he's able to go. If not, they got a couple of corners, some smaller guys. Can George Pickens win on them? Can Deontay make some hay? That's going to be important. And then on the other side, it is ex-Steeler Akella Witherspoon having a good year for him. I know some people are upset the Steelers let Witherspoon go. He did not play well last year. Nobody shed a tear for Witherspoon when Pittsburgh cut him earlier this year. He's a guy who is just, he rides the roller coaster. He's had great years. He's had down years that happened in Pittsburgh as well. Great end of 2021. Pretty terrible 2022 season, marred by injury as well. So that's just the full Akella Witherspoon experience. But can you test him and go after him, and can he make some plays? That'll be something to watch as well. They do seem to have some communication busts and some guys that get open. I've kind of noticed that on tape. Some safeties where you thought they had help and they weren't there, and some crossers that have gotten open. So I think there is an opportunity if Pittsburgh can play their cards right to get some guys wide open. So for my prediction, I really wrestled with this one. I don't feel incredibly confident with this prediction, but I'm going to go with the Rams 23, Steelers 17. I just think that pass game is too strong. Pittsburgh secondary, their cornerback play has not been good enough this year. And I just wonder if Pittsburgh can run the ball against that 5 down front that they have not had success running against all season. There's a bye week. There's time to adjust and change. And so hopefully they can. They really have to. They have to run the ball for this offense to be any semblance of what they want it to be. And they were that post-bye week last year, but can they do it again? Traveling out west, that's a big road trip there. It's possible. I'm not going to be shocked if Pittsburgh wins this game, but I'm going to go Rams 23-17. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Appreciate you guys watching. Please like this video. Please subscribe to the channel. Would really appreciate that. We'll have a lot of content and review in all 22 of this game later in the week. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.